This is Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. Here's your host, Mark News.
And good morning, and thanks for joining us today on Columbus Concerns. A COVID-19 update for Central Ohio. This week, the Big Ten announced that it was going to a conference-only schedule. That, of course, will impact the economy here in Central Ohio, whether or not there's Ohio State football. The league also saying it was uncertain whether there can be football at all this fall. The Ohio State Athletic Director, Gene Smith, held a conference call with reporters this week. We're going to start off by bringing you some of his comments this morning on Columbus Concerns.
There's a lot to get to. I guess I'll start with maybe the Oregon series and what the future of that might be now that you move to this, and if you've had any discussions with them about how to move forward with those two games.
Yeah, I've talked to all three of our non-conference opponent athletic directors, including Oregon, of course, and we've agreed to talk in the future to see if we can try and reschedule our contest.
Would that mean that you're not going to play next year? Is it too soon to know whether the Oregon game I'm talking about? Is it too soon to know an answer on that?
Yes, I'm sorry, Bill. It's too early to know that. We didn't get into details, so he and I will probably chat next week. I called the three athletic directors today, and Mark at Buffalo, and Bob at Bowling Green, and Rob at Oregon, and shared with them what our announcement would be. They're all going through similar conversations in their league, so they were totally understanding. But I shared with them that I would call next week and see if we could try and reschedule. So Rob and I at Oregon did not get into any details. Sorry, Bill.
Thanks, Gene. Can you tell us a little bit about where the athletic budget stands right now and what cuts you may have had to make? And I guess if the Bowling Green and Buffalo payouts, if those are not on the books for this next fiscal year, does that give you any further easing on cuts you might have to make for this next fiscal year?
So we've already made some adjustments in our budget, and we're working off of a 2-month budget that was just like the rest of the university that was approved by the trustees. And so we have been pretty fluid with this. And as we get more understanding of what our future looks like relative to all of our events, we'll be more definitive with our budget. But at this point in time, Nathan, we haven't made final decisions. And relative to the payouts, again, I'll talk to them next week, and we'll determine what we have to do or not do. So I can't get into that at this point in time.
Next up, Dan Hope from 11 Warriors with Bill Rabinowitz on deck. Dan?
Hey, Gene, you guys obviously made the decision yesterday to shut down voluntary workouts for the time being. Now you're making this move. Just what's your level of optimism or concern right now about Ohio State actually being able to proceed forward with playing fall sports?
Well, I'm really concerned. That's a great question. That is the question of the day. I am very concerned. I think in our last conversation, whatever that was, I was, cautiously optimistic. I'm not even there now. And when you look at the behavior of our country, and you consider that in May, we were on a downward trajectory with cases, and our hospitals were creating opportunities for people to come back and get the care that they needed beyond COVID, and elective surgeries and things of that nature. And now we're, if not the worst in the world, one of the worst in the world. And Franklin County is at a level 3, on a trajectory towards level 4. So I am concerned that we may not be able to play, which is why we took the measure that we took in order to try and have September available to us for conference games and give us the flexibility and control to handle disruptions if we're able to start a season. So I'm concerned about where we are, just across the board relative to the management of the pandemic as individuals. I think our governor has done a phenomenal job. He had us on a great trajectory downward, and as we just didn't respond to our opportunities that were provided to us, and so it's people need to follow the protocols and give our kids a chance to compete.
What do you feel like has to happen over the next 2 months to get to a point where football games and other fall sports can be played?
Well, I think first and foremost, we're going to follow the lead of our medical experts. Their advice has been great for us as we've moved through this process, and the health and safety of our student athletes is first and foremost. And so we're going to continue to follow their lead. Obviously, we need the virus to be managed differently than it is now, because we're at a spike again. So we need that, and so at this point in time, we'll wait and see, and take the advice of our medical experts from the Big Ten Medical Task Force, and then also obviously we're blessed with great medical advice here locally, as are the other schools. 13 of our 14 schools have medical centers, so we have access to tremendous advice. So we'll just have to wait and see how our different environments manage the pandemic and take their advice as we move forward.
Hey, Gene, in order to play a season this year, does there have to be an acceptance from people at your level that this virus is going to spread at least some, and to have the ability to endure that? Or what's the expectation of how this is managed from a team level for this to be manageable for a season to happen? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I don't know if I could really answer that one because we're still learning as we go along. And, we haven't, begun to engage in, true practice. And so those protocols are being developed by our Big Ten Task Force for Emerging Infectious Diseases, and then our Sports Medicine Group. And we'll probably have some guidance from the NCAA committee on medical safeguards. So we don't have that information yet, but we will get that. I think we all know that July 24th is when we can actually start that based upon the current schedule. So we just have to wait and see and determine if we can actually hold practice and ultimately contest the way we need to protect the kids. And there's probably, to your point, going to have to be some level of acceptance, but how do you mitigate that? Don't know. That's where we got to rely on the experts.
And that's the athletic director at Ohio State, Gene Smith, talking about the prospects of Big Ten football even occurring this fall here in Columbus and in the other Big Ten cities. Governor DeWine made some remarks this week about COVID-19 and what the state is doing, and colleges and universities. Let's go to the remarks from Governor DeWine this week on colleges and universities and their guidelines for COVID-19.
Last week we talked about the minimum requirements and steps that K through 12 schools will need to take to reopen. Today we want to talk about our colleges and universities. 167 institutions of higher learning in the state of Ohio. We are very, very proud of these schools, both public and private. Ohio is blessed to have them. They also, of course, are preparing to start up school again, and for most of them, returning to campus. Colleges and universities really drive our economy. They drive the local economy of that village or city, but they also drive our economy in many other ways. They train our future workforce. They're major employers. They conduct the research in health and technology that makes Ohio a national leader. That's why we're going to do what we can to support them in this endeavor. The Ohio Department of Higher Education, in consultation with our colleges, universities, the Ohio Department of Health, and health experts across the state, produced guidance for our campuses to reopen for students, faculty, and staff in the safest way possible. And I want to give a shout out to Randy Gardner, the chancellor, who has worked tirelessly on this along with his team and had a lot of conversations with our colleges over the last several months. We are releasing guidance today. It is at www.coronavirus.ohio.gov, coronavirus.ohio.gov. This includes minimum operating standards that should occur on all campuses in the state, as well as best practices to further enhance those standards. By implementing these minimum requirements and implementing best practices, our higher education communities continue to educate students and prevent the spread of COVID-19. Ohio's 2-year and 4-year colleges and universities are unique communities of students, faculty, staff, and as they plan for their operations this fall. Testing will be an integral part of their comprehensive strategies to stop the spread of COVID-19. Each of Ohio's campuses must identify how it can best implement COVID-19 testing within the institution. Each campus must develop policies and procedures tailored to their particular campus, their particular community, all related to COVID-19 testing and the isolation of those students who are showing symptoms, those faculty and staff members as well. Testing of these individuals showing symptoms should certainly take priority over all other testing tactics. Testing, we would hope, would be completed within a short period of time after it's done so that they can take the appropriate action. It is recommended that each campus either designate a university housing space to be set aside or secure a local living space to be left empty so that it may be useful to rapidly relocate individuals who live in residence halls, fraternities, sorority houses, or other institutional affiliated housing, those individuals who become symptomatic. Now, we know that this costs money. We know that COVID-19 prevention efforts, safety precautions, educating students this school year in a safe and healthy environment will be certainly more expensive than it has been in the years past. And that is a significant burden. So to help address these increasing costs, I've spoken and worked with Speaker Householder, Senate President Larry Obhoff, as well as Democrat leaders Yuko and Sykes. All 5 of us have looked at this. All 5 of us have had our teams working on this, and we believe we have come up with something that will be very helpful to both our K through 12 schools, as well as our colleges and universities, both public and private. To start that, we're requesting that the controlling board that's scheduled to meet, I believe, on Monday, approve our initial request on Monday to allocate $200 million for higher education and $100 million for K through 12 from the Coronavirus Relief Fund to help meet these increasing costs. As I said, we hope to have additional money. And the figure that we have been talking about for example, K through 12 is certainly higher than that initial $100 million, but we wanted to get this $100 million out, and we wanted to let the schools be able to plan based upon that money coming. As I said, this money comes from Federal CARES Act dollars. I want to thank our members of the of the federal Congress, both in the House and the Senate, for providing these CARE dollars. Funding comes from Federal CARES Act dollars, and schools will be able to use it to meet their unique individual needs. We intend for this funding to be flexible. For example, and these are just examples, a community college may need assistance funding testing at their student health center. A school district, a local school district, may need a nurse to help with symptoms assessment. A university could use funding to purchase PPE. These are just all examples of many things, many ways that this money could be spent. Some may even choose to use this funding to provide connectivity to students and grow distance learning options. The bottom line is that we intend these funds to be used to serve students to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And again, we want our kids back in school. We want them safe. And this money will help achieve that. At the K through 12 level, we intend to make the funding available to all public and private schools. For Ohio's higher educational institutions, we plan to make this available to 2- and 4-year colleges and universities, both public and private, including adult career tech providers. To put it simply, if you educate students in Ohio, we want to provide additional support with some of the federal funding that we have available. Our request is from our request in regard to the controlling board that we are asking the controlling board. There is additional money, though, that I would point out that is being made available through the CARES Act for education in the state of Ohio. $440 million in direct CARES Act funding is available for our K through 12 schools. $440 million. This is money that when they incur a cost, that they can draw this money down. The state's colleges and universities also receive more than $190 million of direct federal funding. So the two figures I've given you, $440 million for K through 12, $190 million for higher education in the state of Ohio. That is in addition to the money that we're asking the state controlling board to approve on Monday. We hope that schools take advantage of this funding. We certainly realize, however, that it may not cover all of the increased expenses schools face during this pandemic. We're going to continue to look to see if we can provide additional funds in the future, but we wanted to get started with these dollars. I want to talk about a homelessness grant. In April, I announced a $1 million grant to the Coalition of Homelessness and Housing to support homelessness prevention efforts and to rapidly rehouse individuals and families who were, in fact, experiencing homelessness. Those experiencing homelessness certainly can be at great risk of contracting COVID, especially those in congregate facilities such as homeless shelters. Therefore, it is important to do everything we can to keep them out of those situations. With these resources, we're going to be able to keep hundreds of Ohioans safely housed during this pandemic. Today, I'm announcing an additional $15 million grant to ensure Ohioans can maintain their housing during this time. COVID-19 is still very, very much with us. I don't have to remind anybody of that. And these resources will help thousands of families across our state stay housed, stay healthy, and get ready for the future.
And that's Governor DeWine talking about the colleges and universities in the state, homelessness, and other issues. I'm Mark News. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Columbus Concerns.
Thanks for listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. You can send questions or comments about today's show to Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Or email us at columbusconcerns@napcomedia.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of threatening calls from telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. These calls are not from us. Hang up and report the call at oig.ssa.gov.